Hello there. In this episode, I'm going to introduce you to a new library called Barba.js. So this is going to be one of our bigger projects before the big finale. We're going to learn page transitions. So take a look. This is the website that we're going to create right here. And if I go here, we're going to load up another HTML, but it's not going to look like your average page refresh and just navigating to the next page. So take a look, we have this nice animation going and transitioning to another page without any refreshes, very smoothly, really cool. So this is what we're gonna learn. We're gonna have another page here, creating different kinds of page transitions for different pages. So yeah, it's a big one. It looks quite simple, but it actually takes quite a bit of code to do. So I think it's going to be a great practice for you. So in the next episode, we're going to do all the setup files and get going. All right, see you there. Okay, let's start off by making our file structure here. So let me go over to the code. So this is our previous one. I'm going to open folder and just create a new one right here called page transitions. Create it, open it up. Now I'm going to provide quite a couple of images in this folder that I selected. So take a look at your starter files. You're going to have a folder called images with all of these different SVGs and pictures that I found off the internet. All right, just some random things that I edited off in Photoshop. Just a handbag and some cart SVGs and stuff like that. Nothing too crazy. Okay, so what we're going to do is set up some of the basic structure here for our HTML. Now we're not going to do absolutely everything, but a good chunk of it. So, because we're going to have multiple HTML pages. So I'm going to go here and create an index.html. My voice is going away. So hit Shift M1 to generate it. And then we're going to name this page transitions. There we go. I'm also going to create our style.css and our app.js. There we go. Perfect. So let's link everything up together. So we'll do a link /style.css, and down here we're gonna do a script tag with a source of app.app.js and hit save. Okay, I'm also gonna pop in a Poppins font. If you want to, feel free to add it. I'm just gonna drop it up here and hit save. And finally, what I want to do is add our GSAP. So we used this before. So make sure you drop that here. And next up, what we're going to do is actually get Barba.js. So let's head over to the Googles right here. Let me pull this away so it doesn't bother you. And let's just Google up Barba.js. Barba.js. So again, it's a fluid library that allows you to do page transitions. So if I click here, look at that. There's a bunch of cool stuff that you can do with it. I do have a couple on my YouTube channel as well, but I'll try to go as in-depth as possible. There's so much to this library, so I'm gonna try to cover as much as possible for you to understand it. So here, if you go here to their install page, there is a script tag that you can copy over. So it's this one here on pkg barbacore. So that's the one you're looking for and that you want to copy over. So let's go back here, and I'm going to paste this right in between our app.js and our script tag down here. Okay, perfect. So we got that set up. Now we can actually start writing our HTML together. So let's go up here in our body tag, make some space, and start going at it. Okay, so first of all, what I want to do is we're going to make the body here. Actually, we have the body. I'm going to give actually a class to this of handbag. And the reason why I'm doing this is because we're going to do, we're going to update the gradient on this page. So let me close these up for you and open up the original one. When we're scrolling to the pages, we're going to update the gradient depending on which page we're on. So I'm going to use that title here, the class that I'm giving it, to know which page I am on. So handbag body, that's how we're going to name this. So that's our first one. So this is the boots one, and hat one, and handbag one. Okay, so every time we're going to create the HTML, we're going to make a separate one for the boot, a separate one for the hat, and this one which we have. Okay, so what I'm going to do is create a nav, and in here I'm going to drop in some SVGs. So one of them is going to be our burger SVG that we have up there. Now I'm also going to include that in the images folder. If it's not included there, let me just make sure. So I have this shopping cart, the product cart. It doesn't look like I have the burger. So I'm just going to quickly copy that. You're probably just going to have it in your images folder. So go over to the images. You're going to have something like this. I'm going to make it now actually. Burger.svg. I'm going to paste it in here and hit save. So now you can just import it using image./images burger svg. Okay, and hit save. Perfect. Perfect. That's not a good language. Okay, and then in here we're also going to have the a tag, which is going to navigate us back home, so to our basic homepage. All right, so that's where the href is going to take us, and the class is going to be logo. And the name is going to be maxed because my name is Ed and my girlfriend's name is Max. So maxed. Why not? Cool. All right. So that's our nav. I don't think we need anything else really in here. We can drop in the shopping bag just so we have 3 items in here. So image. I'm going to add a source of. Let's go over to images and there should be a shopping cart in here. Perfect. I'm going to add a class of shopping back to this and hit save. All right, so that's our nav. And now down here, we're going to add a new section. And this section is going to be called our showcase. So showcasing all the products. Perfect. There we go. So in here, we're going to have a image container, which is going to hold that big image on the left side of the screen. So this one. So our image container is going to take in an image with a source of /images. It's called front page boot handbag. There we go. Perfect. So that's it. I don't think we need to add any classes to this, so we can just move on. All right, next up, we're going to have our title here and our little button. So I'm going to call this a showcase text. Okay, so right besides the image container, make sure you have your showcase text. Okay, in here, I'm going to have a h2 with a class of showcase title. Hit tab. And we're going to say, let's see, what should we write in here? Going places with bags of beauty. Oh my gosh, beauty. There we go. Hit save. Perfect. Now down here, we're going to create a h3 that's going to say showcase subtitle. Hit tab. On everyone's wish list this season. Timeless. Presents. Almost wrote parents there. Presents. They'll. This is the first time of me looking at this text, by the way. Treasure forever, including our must have Lazara handbag. Is that the way you write it? I have no clue. I did not write this text. My partner did, so it is what it is. Okay, perfect. So we have our H3, and next up, we're going to have a button that's going to navigate us to the other page. So the href on this is going to be /product page HTML. I know we don't have this now, but we're going to add it very, very soon. And this is going to have a button in here with a class of showcase button, and I'm going to call it explore. All right, so just this part of the page here. So we did this, and now this. Perfect. Oh, the product page is actually going to be the slider one opening up. Okay, and to navigate to the next page, we're gonna have this arrow down here in the corner. Let me also make sure I open this up in, let me see, is this the, yeah, so this is the finished one. Let me close this up and let me open it up in Chrome for you to see. Let me just navigate over. Oh my goodness, these dual monitors. There we go. I'll paste it in here. So this is the finished one, and I'll do ours now. Oh, just completely lost on this Mac. There we go. So let me open in Live Server. There we go. It's gonna open it in Safari, isn't it? Ah, oh, you little. There we go. Okay, copy. Back to Chrome. Paste it in here. Okay, so they're super large here. Don't worry about it for now. It's all good. Okay, so we have our Explore button. Now what I need to do is, let's see where we're gonna add that arrow. So here, and right after this div. So after the A tag and this div, still in the section, we're gonna add an A tag with a href going to boot.html. Okay, perfect. And in here, yeah, so in the A tag, I'm gonna add the arrow SVG. So let me see if I have that added here. If not, I'll just copy paste it now here for you. Search. Okay, I'm also gonna remove these two because we're not gonna need them. Let me move them to trash. Just clean up this file structure. You're already gonna have the finished one, so don't worry about it. So I'm gonna make it now for you. It's gonna be arrow.svg. Okay, I'm gonna paste that in there. Actually, what I'm gonna do is, yeah, that's fine. I just paste it in here using, actually, let's just do it like this because we have a class on there and we might animate it. So just add showcase arrow, just the whole SVG in there. Go over, copy it, and paste it in. Okay, I'm gonna collapse this just to make some more space. And I think that should be about it. What else I'm gonna add is actually the circles. So for that, let's see here. I don't think I have it here. Let's see, arrow, search shopping cart. Yeah, it does not look like I have it. So I'm just gonna do a quick copy paste. And again, you can just add it to your code. So let me go here. Sorry about this. Okay, so I'll grab this for you and add it in here. I'm gonna call it circle.svg and paste it in here. All right, so make sure you grab this from the starter files. Go right below here and paste it and hit save. Now this is circle 1, so I'm gonna make 2 more. So right after this SVG, go down here, paste it 2 more times, and hit save. And all I'm gonna do is just rename this. So I have circle 1, I'm gonna put circle 2 here, and circle 3 here, and hit save. Okay, so quite a few SVGs, quite a bit of HTML, but not too bad. Okay, now nothing's gonna really look too nice here, unfortunately, but don't worry about it. We're gonna start styling it up in the next episode. Okay, so I think that's gonna be it for this one. I'll see you in the next one. Let's start doing some basic styling to make this page look a bit prettier. So let's head over to our style.css, and we're just gonna do some basic stuff again. So margin 0, padding 0, all the usual old stuff. So box sizing, border box, and hit save. Okay, and then we're gonna do font family, Poppins, and sans serif. Cool. For the background, so we're gonna do body, background. I'm gonna add a nice linear gradient that I found. So 260 degrees, again, like we did it before. And I'm gonna do, crap, missed it. There we go. the hashtags B75D62. That's the one I like. And the second one's gonna be, I cannot believe I keep doing this, 754D4F. Okay, hit save. Let's take a look. Let me go over back to Chrome. There we go. So just a nice little gradient there, okay? Perfect. Next up, let's go over to the showcase. That's the big one. We're gonna add a display flex to this. Perfect. Then we're gonna add a position absolute. And hit save. All right. So both of these are gonna go side by side. And then add an align item center and a justify content of space between. And hit save. Now, the bubbles are here. They're gonna disappear because we're gonna add a position absolute to it. So it's all gonna size in nicely here. I also want to add a min height to this of 90 VH, like that. And we'll add some padding. I'll do 0 rem on the top, 15% on the right, 0 VH on the bottom, and 15% on the left. There we go. Perfect. Again, don't worry about that side. Why did I do 0 VH here? 0 rem. There we go. Perfect. So now I'm also going to add an overflow hidden. I don't want any content to come outside of this page. So there we go. That's nice. Now let's grab the nav. I'm going to do a min height of 10 VH on this, a color of white. There we go. Display flex. Align item center. There we go. So that's going to do it horizontally. And I want space between these two. So justify content space between and hit save. Now, as you can see, it looks quite weird like that. So I'm going to add the same padding that I did up here. So padding 0.5 rem top and bottom, and just do 15% left and right again. All right, so now everything is going to nicely match up here on the sides. I know this image is still super big, but don't worry, we're going to fix it in just a bit. Let's just do the logo for now because it looks all bluish and purplish. So let's just go down here. We're going to grab the logo, do a text decoration.
Who do you want to send it to?
Ooh, no, Safari. So this is why I'm saying remove the touch bar on the damn MacBook. Oh my God, Siri, stop it. There we go. Oh my God. Text decoration, none. We're gonna change the color to white. The font size, will increase this to 1.4 rem. And we're gonna change the font weight to bold. Okay, there we go. That might be actually a bit too big. Let's tune down the font size on that. Maybe even 1 rem is gonna look nice. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Even these icons look quite big, so I'm gonna scale them down in just a bit. So let me take a quick look here. What are they called? Let's see. So we have, yeah, basically both of these images in the nav. Let's go back here. So I can do nav image like that. Do a transform scale of 0.8 to them. There we go. Much nicer, much smaller. 0.7 maybe. Yeah, much better. Perfect. Alrighty, so let's head back here. So let's do the image containers now. Image container. Perfect. So basically this thing, right? First of all, what I want to do is also grab the actual image and scale it down a bit because it's just enormous. So image, container, image. I'm going to add a width of like 90% to this and hit save. There we go. That's much nicer now. And for the container, I'm going to do a display flex actually. I'm just going to align item center and justify the content to flex start and hit save. All right, just so it lines up there at the beginning. Also going to add a height of 80 VH to this. So let's go down here for the showcase text. We'll add a color of white to it. There we go. Perfect. Yep. Remove one of the K's there. There we go. Now it's white. And I want to actually get these bubbles out of the way because they're messing up the content quite a bit. So for that, it's going to be quite simple. Just go down here. We'll do circle 1. Actually, we can just do circle, right? Because all of them have circle on it. And do a position absolute. There we go. Now it's much easier to tell how we're positioning the other stuff. So let's just grab circle 1 and just kind of mess around with these and find the cool position for them. So left 3%, we'll do a bottom -3%. We'll place it there and we'll just scale it up a little bit. We'll do a transform, scale. Feel free to position these any way you want. I'm going to do a scale of 2 to make it like that. That looks quite cool. Okay, so that's one. We'll do another one. We'll do circle 2. We'll do a left of 35%, a bottom of 10%. Now I pre-picked these already, so I know how to make them and put them so they look quite nice. So that's there. And then the last one, we'll do dot circle 3. We'll do a left of 20%, top of 15%, and then we'll do a transform scale of 1.5. Just like that. Perfect. So now what I want to do is actually take this handbag and put it in the front of this. So if we go here to the image, let's see where we should do this. Let's do it to the image container. So go over to the image container and add a z-index of 2. So there we go. So now it's on top of it like that. Let's see if that flex 1 works now. Flex 1. Yeah, so it's still there. And then on the showcase text, we'll do a flex 1 as well. Flex 1, hit save. There we go. So now it works just fine. I believe it was the circles that was messing it up. So flex 1 on each image container and text should give it the same spacing. So this becomes much, much larger now. I actually want to take this text and push it a bit up. So I'm going to add a padding bottom to the showcase text. So padding, bottom, we'll do something big like 10 rem. There we go. So just kind of place it a bit more up. We're going to take these and scale them up a little bit. So we're going to take the showcase text. Let me add bubbles here so you know what this is. There we go. Just add some comments. There we go. Bubbles. And here above, we're going to grab the showcase title. We're going to do a font size of 2 rem. Like that. Maybe we can do something crazier. Let's see, 4 rem. That looks quite good. 3 maybe. Yeah, let's do 4. Let's make it extra large. Now we're going to grab the showcase subtitle. We're going to do a font size of 1.2 rem. I'm just going to separate it a little bit. So I'm going to add a padding of 3 rem top and bottom. 3 rem and 0 rem. There we go, just to make some space for it. Perfect. So that's good. And finally, we need to do the button as well. So go down here. We're going to say showcase button. I'm going to add a padding of 1 rem and 3 rem. There we go. Make it much bigger. Maybe this is too big actually. 0.5 rem and 2 rem. There we go. I like that more. I want to actually scale these a bit down. I feel like it's too big. 3 rem, maybe even 2 rem. That looks nice. And this can go to 1 rem. There we go. Then we can do maybe a font weight of 400 on this. There we go. That looks much nicer. Okay, cool. So let's go down here to the showcase button. We'll remove the border from it. We'll add a color of black, which I already think it has. Font weight, let's make it a bit thicker, 500. We'll do a font size of 1 rem. That's too big. We'll just keep it off and then just do a font family of Poppins, comma, sans serif. And hit save. So look at that, we got quite a bit done here. I might even make this smaller, you know. Let's do, okay, let's refresh this. There we go. Let's do font size 0.8 rem. Let's see how that looks like. Hit save. Okay, there we go. I think it still has a border on it. Let's say border none. Oh no, I'm just blind. That's okay. Perfect. Now I'm gonna take the showcase arrow and just move it around a little bit because I don't like it there. So if I click on it, it gives us an error because we don't have the boot HTML yet, but that's fine. So let's go down here. We're gonna do a showcase arrow. We're gonna add a position, absolute. We're gonna do a right 15% to it and a bottom of 10% to it. And hit save. All right, so just down here, that looks pretty good. Perfect, so I'm happy with that. Maybe this size is a bit too big, so we can go up here and just reduce the width a little bit to something like 80. And that looks pretty good. Okay, cool. Maybe decrease the size of the arrow as well. Looks quite ginormous to me. So we can do a transform, scale, and just do something like 0.6 and hit save. Yeah, that looks much nicer now. Perfect. So we got that going. That's great. That should be quite a lot for now. So I'm going to leave it at that. And we're going to go into the other pages right now in the next episode. I don't want to make these super long because there's quite a bit to cover. So I'll see you in the next one. Awesome, so now that we have the base structure for our first page, we can start making the other ones quite easy. So let's head back to our code and we're gonna do quite a bit of copy pasting. So let's head here and on your, just here in the root document, create a new page and call it boot.html, okay? So let's generate that. And we can actually just go back to index.html and copy everything over, and then we'll just do changes accordingly. So go over to boot, go over all the way to the top, and let's see what we need to change. All right, so the font family, linking the style sheet, everything of that sort should be still the same. Okay, so here for the body, we need to do, let's do boot body. Like that, hit save. The image burger, shopping cart, everything else there can stay the same. I'm just gonna go here. Yeah, so we're gonna keep everything the same there. And then let's go all the way to the showcase image container. Okay, so that's gonna stay the same. Here, the actual image, we're gonna update this to front page and not handback. We're gonna do boot and hit save. Okay, showcase text. I'm gonna update this to these boots were made for walking. Okay, and then I'll update the text here as well. Just get rid of this and I'll say, and that's just what they'll do. There's no denying what a great pair of boots can do for your outfit. Treat your feet on repeat. I'm joking, I'm just rhyming. Explore our range now. All right, that's it. So there we go. And then here we can keep that the same, that's fine. And then showcase button here is gonna be the same. And then here, we're gonna actually navigate over to our next page, which we don't have, so hat HTML. Okay, and then down here, showcase, so that's gonna be fine. And then that's gonna be fine. So we're gonna keep the circles, we're gonna keep everything the same. And I believe that should be it, hopefully. Okay, and now again, we're gonna grab everything again, copy, and we're gonna make a new page called hat.html. Paste everything in, so tab, oops, just paste it, hit save. Let's go to the top and update everything again. You have to love this tedious process, but it's worth it because it's gonna look nice and fancy. So again, here, we're gonna change this to hat body, hit save, and this is gonna stay the same. Showcase image container, so here, front page hat, update that, and then we're gonna update the text again. So I'm gonna say the perfect finishing touch, and click OK. Perfect. And for the subtitle here, we're gonna say missing that finishing touch. Top off your outfit with our range. Let me see, range of hats from fedoras to flat caps. Cozy never looked so good. Oh, we're gonna sell this product, aren't we? Okay, so explore is done. That should still stay the same. And here now, we want to go back to the beginning. So we're going to just put index.html and hit save. Okay, and I believe that should be it. So let's see if this works. So go over here, click through these, and look at that. The nice thing is that they have the same classes. So we just need to do a couple of updates. But yeah, everything seems to be working just fine. So lovely. We set up all the structure for these pages. And now I do believe we have another page. So when we click on one of these, explore, it's going to take us to a product page. So we might do that actually a bit later after we hook up the initial animation. We'll see how it goes. All right, see you in the next one. Okay, so let's try to get the initial Barba animation up and going. Now, as a little warning ahead, I find Barba.js quite tricky and complicated. There's so many nooks and crannies out there that if you don't add a small bit, it ruins your animation, and it's very hard to figure it out even based on the docs. It's a bit tough, but it's probably the most popular one when it comes to vanilla JavaScript. Now, I do have to say, if you're going down the React route, so if you're using a React library, there's so many better ones out there and so much more easy to implement compared to Barba.js. So if you don't get it straight off the bat, don't worry, it is quite tough, even for me. So I'll try to keep it as simple as possible. So one thing, let me just open up the docs here so we can visualize everything. So I'll go here to the intro. The first thing we need to do after all this installation is you have to do the markup in your HTML. So essentially you have this wrapper. So you need to add data barba wrapper. So you need to wrap this for the library to even work. So basically in the wrapper, you want to put all your content that will not change. So things like your nav, things like your header, and things like your pages. And then in the data barba container, you want to put the things that will change. Okay, so if we go back here, in our case, it would make sense to add the wrapper on the nav, on the body, I should say, right? And then the things that we want to change, so we don't want to change the nav, we want to keep the nav. We do want to change these sections out, right? So just update the sections one by one. All right. So let me go back here. Just a second. Sorry about this. So here, right, you want this nav to stay the same and you only want the content here to change. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do first. So let's go through all our HTMLs and update it. I need to sneeze, so if I sneeze, don't get scared. I feel it coming. I feel it coming. Okay, so let's go to index HTML first. On the handbag body here, we're gonna add a data barba. Set that equal to wrapper. All right, and hit save. So now the content that we want to change is going to be the section down here. Let's go over to the section showcase. We're going to add a data barba. Set that equal to container. And we can also add something called data barba namespace just to give it a name. And we have access to this in the JavaScript code because we can specify like, oh, maybe I want another transition for this specific page. So that's why we add this namespace. I'll just name it handbag. Okay, hit save. And that should be it. Let me make sure everything is okay. Yeah, that should be it here. So now we can head over to the boot. Let's go over there. And essentially these are gonna be the same. So the body is gonna just have a data of wrapper. So let me go up here, make sure we don't get anything wrong here. So here on the boot body, I'm gonna also add a data barba, set that equal to wrapper. And then on the section showcase here, we're gonna do data barba container. So data barba, set that equal to container. And I'm gonna do a data barba namespace and set that equal to boot and hit save. Okay, and finally we have the hat. So let's go over to the hat. Where is the hat? Here we go. So on the body, data barba, set that equal to wrapper. And on the showcase down here, let's see here, we're gonna do data barba, set that equal to container, and data barba namespace, set that equal to, we're gonna name this hat, and hit save. All right, so that should be it. That's all the markup you need to get this up and running. Let me make sure I'll inspect the element to make sure we don't have any errors before we go. And looks like we should be fine. It says fail to load source map, but I think that's okay. I don't think this is going to cause us any issues. Okay, so that's it. That's the HTML setup. Let's head into the JavaScript setup now. See you there. Okay, so let's take a look at a basic transition here on the page. So essentially what you do is you say barba init, and then you have this transition array where we can basically define multiple transitions because you might have a specific one for this page and another one for another page. You can give it a name if you want, and then you have a leave function and an enter function. And here is where you do all your GSEP from and tos. Now this looks simple, but unfortunately it gets quite tricky when it actually comes down to doing a couple of stuff, which we're gonna see in just a bit. Okay, but let's try to replicate this in our code. So let's head back over to our app.js. Head to app.js, I'm gonna open it up on both of my screens. Just so we have everything all ready and sorted. Okay, so I'm gonna add some comments here and say run animations. So let's create a barba.init. So we're gonna copy it, parentheses and square brackets. Okay, so again, here we define something called a transitions array like that. And in this transitions array, you have another pair of objects. And I'm going to name this just so we know this is going to be our showcase transitions here, which is going to be the same for all three products. Okay, so in here, I'm gonna give it a name. I'm gonna call it our default transition. And then in here, I'm gonna add the leave and also the enter. So make sure you add a comma here and say enter. There we go. Now in here, we actually have access to a specific parameter. I'm just gonna write data here. You can write anything you want, but this essentially is gonna give you that container that's gonna transition in or transition out. So if I console log out data here, console.log data, and hit save, let's take a look at our page here. I'm just gonna open up the inspector, go over to the console. So if I click on this arrow now, look at that. We get an object here that's going to give us the current container, which is going to be our section showcase here, handbag, right, with the namespace of handbag, and the next one, which we navigate to, which is boot. So with this information, we can basically create a transition. So that's available here and here as well. So what I can do is actually save these to a variable. So I can say the current container, which is our handbag, right? That's the initial one that we're on. We can have access to that on data.current.container. Now we have access to that whole section. And down here, we can get let next is equal to data.next.container. So here we can get the one that's gonna fade in. Okay, and now we can do whatever we want with this. On leave, I want to grab the current container, and let's just do a gsap fade out. gsap.from to current, I'll grab the current container, do an opacity of 0, opacity of 1 to opacity of 0. And we'll do a duration of 1 second to this. Okay, I'm going to copy paste the same thing over here. Paste it here. I'm just going to change this to next. So I want the next to come from 0 to 1 and hit save. All right, let's see if that works. And look at that. So let me go back here and click on it, and look at that. It fades in and we have this nice effect. Okay, so that's simple enough. Let me increase the duration here to 3 seconds because I do want to show you something. Okay, the thing is though, the animation is not gonna wait. So this will start fading out, but the other one already starts popping in on top of it, right? So if I click on it, see, the other one already appears on the front. Right? So it's not gonna know when this finishes and when this starts. It has no clue about this duration 3 seconds here. Okay? So what we need to do is tell it, hey, don't start the enter until the leave is finished. And the way we do that is using async. So it's gonna be quite simple. It's in the docs. All you need to do is add a variable called const_done and call this.async on it, like this.async. Okay? And we just need to run this, invoke this function after this animation is done. Now, how do we do that? Well, there is a little function that we can use in GSAP called on, I forgot the name. Let me look it up. OnComplete. So onComplete here, we can run a function. I'm gonna add a comma here called onComplete. And I can just call done here. So let me see, let me make sure I get this correctly. Done. And you can do any other thing in here. So this is essentially just a function. You can run an arrow function in here. So you're gonna see that maybe you wanna run another GSAP. So when this finishes, or maybe you wanna run a specific code, just add an arrow function here and curly brackets, and you can run any custom code you want when this animation finishes. In this case, I just want to run done. And same thing down here. I can do, let me see here, sorry. I can just go here and say const done, set that equal to this.async, hit save, and at the end here, add a comma and run onComplete, done. That should be it. So let's take a look now. Fades out, and look at that. Now it waits for this to complete, and then the other page comes in. So how about that? That's really cool. Now another problem is, look, if this fades out and that comes in, that's all nice and dandy. But if I click fast, see, I can just click through it and not wait for the animation to finish, which is a bit strange. So if I lower this to like 1 second, 1 second, so that's something a bit more realistic, right? So boom, so that works nicely. Click, that works nicely. But if I click fast, it does that, right? So again, you might be like, okay, well, what the hell do I do about that? It's already weird with this all async stuff. So this is where like Barba.js gets a bit weird. So I looked through all the docs and tried to figure everything out. So hopefully I'm making it quite easy for you. So to prevent that from happening, all you need to do is go over to the top here where we have name, and we can add something called prevent running and set that to true and add a comma and hit save. Okay, so let's take a look now. Now if I click through, so my apologies, this does not work because it needs to be put up here. So let me just bring this up. Let me cut this from here and bring it up to the transitions up there. Okay, so there we go. That should be all fine now. Let's give it another shot. So let's go here. And look, if I start clicking, it's not going to break it until the animation does not finish. So that's really good. All right, so there you go. That's the basic transition that you can do with Barba.js. Now let's make this a bit nicer and add a bit of more spice to it. Okay, see you in the next one. Okay, now that we have our basic transition going, let's start refactoring our code a little bit. Because right now what we have here, if we pull up our screen, let me pull up mine as well, is that we don't really want to flood this whole thing here with GSAP from twos, okay? Because we're going to end up with one huge blob of code. So we're going to separate all of these with different functions. So first of all, I want to go here at the top of the screen and just create two timelines, one for leave and one for enter. So let's do that. TL leave and set that equal to gsap.timeline. And in here, we're going to make a defaults again, like that. We're going to set a default duration of 0.75. Okay, perfect. And we're also going to add an ease of that power to dot ease out. Okay, and hit save. Let's make another one for enter. I'm going to copy this and paste it down here. All right, and I'm just going to rename this to TL enter, just to keep everything nice and clean. Okay, and now down here, we're going to make the functions for the TL, for the leave and enter animations. Okay, cool. So hopefully everything so far is nice and clean and you understand it. Let's create our leave animation first. So const leave animation. What I'm going to do is actually pass in here the current and our done, right? Because we want to execute that in here, right? So we're just going to basically get rid of everything here and just do leave animation done and just pass the container down. Okay, so let's grab a couple of things. We'll grab the product, set that equal to current dot query selector. So I want to grab that specific container's product. So in this case, it's our image container, right? But if I do again current.query selector, it's going to select that page's image container. So image container. Okay. So let text set that equal to current.query selector. We're going to do showcase text. Okay. Let me rename this actually to, it's fine to do just const. We're also going to grab the circles. Let's do current.query selector. Let's do query selector all here because there's multiple of them. Circle. And finally, let's grab the arrow. So const arrow is current dot query selector showcase arrow. And we are done. Cool. So we grabbed a bunch of things, and what we want to do here is just return this GSAP animation. Okay, so return here, and what we're gonna do is a GSAP from to first. We're gonna grab the arrow, and we're gonna do an opacity 1 y0. And we're basically gonna just move it down a little bit and fade it out. So opacity to 0, and Y, let's move it down by 200 or so. Okay, perfect. And that's gonna be it. So let's do another one before we move on. I just hit save. Actually, I don't wanna hit save because it's gonna close up that parentheses, and it's quite annoying that it does that. So I'm going to add a comma here at the end of that. And then what I'm going to do is actually start doing a TL, right? This is just a GSAP from to. So now we're going to start doing the let me add the duration in here actually. Or we can actually just do TL here. That's fine as well. So there we go. Close that up and then do a TL. Actually, it's TL leave, like that. Then we'll do another TL leave. I'm gonna do 2. We're gonna grab the current page, and I'm gonna add a Z index of 1 to this. Now, why are we doing this? The reason why we're doing this is so the next page behind the current page will fade out. So you're gonna see it without this and with this as well. So just add it for now. And I want this to happen at the same time as this arrow thing happens. So let's see why this error is out actually, because I believe it's here that's the problem. I do believe comma should do it. I'm not sure why. Let's try that again with the comma here. Let's do a TL leave on the product from to. Let's grab the product. Oh yeah, that seems to be working fine now. And do a Y0 opacity 1, 2. Let's bring it down a bit. Let's do a Y minus 100 and opacity 0. See if that works. So it seems to be fine now. Okay, so you need a comma here, and that will do just fine. Let's go back here and try this out. So that fades out, but it doesn't seem to be working. Oh, that's because we haven't hooked it up to our TL leave here. So our leave here. So let me go down here to our animation. So we're going to remove this GSAP from to. We're going to keep the done and the current. That's completely fine. And we're just going to replace and add the leave animation in here. Okay. So at the leave here, we're just going to call leave animation. We're going to pass down the, let's see what we need to pass down. The current and the done function, right? And that's it. So we also need to run done somewhere here. So let's just do it here. After we fade it out, on complete, we run the done and hit save. Okay. So again, we just basically separated that and just hooked it up there. Let's take a look now. Click. And the other one starts fading in. Okay. Now the arrow goes down quite a bit here. So if we click on it, that jumps down too much. So, so let's head back to the code and see how we can fix this up. So Y, let's do something small like 50 here for the arrow. And here, let's do Y 100. So it goes down. Okay, let's go back to the code. So click on this, doop, doop, doop. Okay, now I want these to happen at the same time. So I'm gonna go back here and just add a comma after the curly brackets and do that symbol right there. Okay? So let's head back and see if that works. Doop, doop, and the other one fades in. Now that text still stays there, which is fine. So let's also hook up that animation there. So let me go back here to the code. So for that, all we need to do, let me scroll back up here. I have so many animations going on. Okay, so we have the arrow. We have the product. And then let's do the text. So after this, TL leave from to, or okay, so I gotta make sure you have the comma here. Oh gosh, just small things that can mess this up a ton. So we'll grab the text and we'll do the same thing. So Y0 opacity 1. So from that position, we're gonna fade it out to opacity 0 and Y. We'll move it down by 100 as well. Okay, so there we go. Perfect. And I want this to happen at the same time as well. So I'll add a comma here and add that symbol and hit save. So boop, boop, and that fades in. Okay, now we still have to fix up the bubbles. So for the bubbles, let me just see something very quickly. Okay, cool. All right, let's head back to the initial page. And for the bubbles, we'll leave it for this episode and we'll come back in the next one. Okay, so there seems to be some weird issue with adding GSAP in here and doing a from to. Somehow it messes up the code. So here's the simplest thing we can do. I found this just about now because this had some weird issues. So we don't need to set any Z indexes or anything. What we can do is just add a TL leaf here for the circles, just like that, and add a stagger of 0.15. And that should do it just fine. Okay, so there we go. Let's head back to the code. Let's go back here and let's see if that works now. So boop, boop, boop. And there we go. Boop, boop, boop. Okay, so everything works perfectly fine. So let's add that easing back as well. So here we'll do an ease of, where's that elastic one? We're going to copy paste that over. So ease of back out. Back.out, we'll do 1.7 here, and we'll also increase the duration of this animation to at least 1 second and hit save. So let's take a look now if this works. Let's go through it. Doop, doop, doop. And there we go. Doop, doop, doop. Works just fine. Perfect. So that's great. Everything is fixed now. We can take a breather. Wow. Okay, cool. So we can go up here, actually get rid of this TL circle leave. We don't need it anymore, and just hit save. All right, so we're left with only one timeline. So now that we have that, we can pretty much do the same thing, but the reverse of it here in the enter. So I'm just gonna get rid of this GSAP from to here, and we'll just make a new function and kind of optimize it for the leave, because it's gonna be a bit different. Let me just grab everything here. There we go, go up, up, and then down, and then up again. Just grab this whole leave animation, do a copy of it, and paste it below here. Okay, so let's go back up and just rename it and optimize it for the enter. Okay, so all we need to do is we're gonna keep everything the same. This is gonna be the same, GSAP from to arrow. So let's see here for the arrow now. What we'll do is we'll go from opacity 0 to opacity 1. We'll just pretty much reverse everything here. We'll change the Y from 0 to 50 and just reverse that. The product, let's see here. Let's see what we need to do for that one. Okay, so for the product, we're gonna do -100 to 0. and opacity from 0 to 1. Okay, same for the text. Just make sure to reverse everything. 100 here, 0, and then 0 and 1. And then here, we'll do minus 200, 0, and then 0 to 1. Now let's see if that works. So we can just go down here and we can call in the enter animation. What is it called? Oh, we need to rename it as well. So let's do enter animation. Just go down here, enter animation, and we'll pass in the next and the done, and hit save and see how that works. So hopefully everything is still fine. Let's click through this, and whoop, and we get that nicely fading in. So that's our little animation. We finished it. Let's see, what else can we do here in this episode? What we can do is also update the background. So I want the background to change color depending which page we are on. So let's do that in the next episode. Okay, so this is optional, but it's quite cool. Let's hook up the gradient functionality for this website. So I'm gonna say changing gradient on showcase. Okay, so I'm just gonna create a function, call it get gradient, and this is gonna have a name in here. And depending which page we're on, so we're gonna get that namespace. If you remember at the beginning on the HTML, we added a name to each. We can get that, and based on which name it has, we can switch out the color. So I'm just gonna do a normal switch statement here. And I'm gonna say case. If the case is handbag, we'll then do the color that we already have. So return linear gradient, and these are the two colors I choose, 260 degrees. So we're gonna add that, and the color is gonna be B75D62, okay, comma, and then another hashtag. It's gonna be 754D4F. Hope I got that right. So that's gonna be it there. So I'm gonna add, close that. In case of boot, like that, we are gonna return something else. I'm just gonna copy this over for some ease. Is that how you say it? Yeah. So here I'm gonna do, let me just delete that, like that, and do 5D8CB7. For this one, I'm gonna get rid of that. I'm gonna do 4C, 4F70. Okay. And last one, we'll do another case of hat. We're gonna do a return of, we'll just paste this here actually. We'll do a B27 A5C. For this one, a 7F5450. And hit save. All right, so those are the three gradients that we have. All right, now how do we hook this up? Well, that's a good question. Well, let's figure it out. So what I'm gonna do is just go up here and on the, let's see here, right down here where we do our leave and enter, okay? Let's do the leave animation first. Actually, we don't need that, just on enter, because we want to fade in the next color, right? We want to go down here and just add a let gradient. And what I'm going to do is just set it equal to get gradient. All right, the function that we just made. Now, how can we extract that namespace? So basically, I'm on index.html, and when I go over to boot.html, I want to have access to this name here, this data barba namespace. We added boot on it, right? So I want to have access to that. The way we can do it is say data.next.namespace. Okay, so there we go. So this is basically just going to return us the gradient. So I'm going to add a comma here. What I'm going to do is pass it down actually in the enter animation gradient, like that. So let's go to our enter animation, which is right here. So now we have access to the gradient. And let's hook it up. Enter animation. So let's scroll down and we'll do it. Let's do it here somewhere. Really anywhere, to be honest. You can just do it here. TL. Oh, is this the leave? Oh, I called it leave. Oh, did I call the other one leave as well? Let's see, TL leave, TL leave. I did do it. Let's just rename these to enter quickly. TL enter. Well, it didn't really change that much, thankfully. It didn't really affect it in any way. But let's just change it so we're all nice and organized. Let me make sure nothing breaks yet. It should work the same way pretty much. Yeah, that's completely fine. Okay, let's head back here. We'll add the TL enter. So on TL enter, we'll do a 2. We'll just grab the body and we'll change the background to the gradient of the page that's coming in. Add a comma here and the smaller than symbol and save it. And that should be fine. Let's see. Click on next. And there we go. Now, as you can see, you see a flash there going on. But that's fine, and we're gonna fix it, so don't worry. So let's refresh this again. Let's see. Doop doop. And that flashes in like that. Actually, does it go to the same page? Let's make sure. Okay, there we go. So it goes to the next one, but it does a flash at the beginning. And another problem is when we hit space here, see if we hit enter, it goes back to the original color. So that's something else that we need to fix. Okay, so I believe the issue that we have on the first go is it flashes like that because it doesn't know which property to animate from. We never specified the starting point of that red to this blue. And that's why it works from here to this page. So basically what I want to do is on page refresh. So when you first arrive to the page, I want to run the animation and set the gradient on it initially. And that's going to be nice because even on this page, right, we're going to have the animation set. Or even if we go to the next page, as you can see, we have this problem. If we refresh, it goes back to that initial body gradient. So we're going to try to tackle 2 issues at once here. Okay, so are you still hanging in with me? Hopefully you are. Okay, so what we do here is, besides leave and enter, there's quite a couple of other properties that we can use. One is once that we can add. So this basically runs once on page refresh. So let's add that. We'll say data. I'll add a comma here. And what I'll do here is get that const done, this.async, and basically just run everything that we did previously. So data next.container, I'll grab that. And I'll do a let gradient here as well and set that equal to get gradient. Pass in the data next namespace. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is say gsap.set, and I'm going to set the body to the background to the gradient. So now even on page refresh, it's going to know which one to take in. All right, and there we go. And then I can also run the enter animation here. So when we refresh the page, we still get the product and everything else popping up. So let's save that and see if that fixes our issue. So if I refresh now, we get the nice animation popping in. And when we go to the next page, look at that. Perfect. We just fixed it and it was like 5 lines of code. And now when we're on the boots page and do a refresh, we still get the animation going. So that's really nice. Whew, that was tough. Okay, so we actually did not need any z indexes or other crap to do here. All right, so that's it. I hope you enjoyed this. I know this was a bit tough, but we finally managed to figure it out. So again, like small things like this in Barbara are a bit frustrating, but hey, I mean, if you want nice things, unfortunately, you have to do a little bit of a hard work. Okay, see you in the next one. Alrighty, now that we have that up and going, let's finish this up by adding another type of transition when we hit the Explore button here. Okay, so when we click on the Explore, I want the page to just fly up and yeah, for just some images to pop up on the screen. Okay, so let me close this up and let's just create a new page. So let's go here and we're gonna call this, we already hooked it up, it's called product page.html. Okay, so open that up and then we can just copy over our index.html. So let's go over to that, copy this over, and we'll just remove a bunch of stuff. So let's paste that in there. Let's see, what should we remove? So let's go here all the way to the top. Product wrapper, that's gonna be fine. We'll remove this. We don't need the handbag body anymore. We actually didn't need the classes on these, so we can just remove them. Okay, we have our product here, so that's fine. We're gonna keep that. And then here at the section, so we're probably just gonna empty everything out here. So grab this whole section. Oh no, clicking on random things. Okay, let's just scroll down here, delete that section. And here we're gonna make a new one called product section. Okay, I'm gonna add a data barba to this as well. So data barba, set that equal to the container, and we're gonna give a name of data barba namespace to this. Call that equal to product. Okay, good. So here we're just gonna add a product description. All right, add a H2 in here, shop our signatures. Add the dot. A p tag, your shortcut to sophistication. How do you write sophistication? Our signatures never go out of style. Cool. Hit save on that. Now what I want to do is just add a little image gallery here for us. So after this product description, let's see here. Yeah, we have the product description. After that, we'll do a product gallery and just do like a grid of images. So we'll have a card in here with an image with a class of, so image with a class of card. Actually, now we have card there, product image, like that. And the source is gonna be, let's just grab one of these images from our folder. So image, we'll do black card, okay? And hit save. So here, after that, after our image, go down here, we'll add a little title, Lazara, and also a p tag called black leather. Again, this is just to make it look a bit fancy. And I'll also add another div called price, and just add a H3 in here, or H4, and we'll add $300, very expensive, and with an image of the product cart. So let's search that up. Product cart SVG, the class of product cart. All right, and that's our thing right here. All we need to do now is duplicate these a couple more times. So click on the card. We'll do a couple. Let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, let's just update these. So go all the way up the second card. I'm gonna name it yellow card. And let's see what others I have here. Tan card for the next one. And think we have a blue card as well. Okay, let me see. Where is it? So here, tan card, yellow card, black card. And we'll do a blue card. I believe that's all I have. We'll just do it again. So black card, tan card, and that should be fine. Okay, we'll see. We'll come back to it if we need to do any other changes. It's just images here, so that's all fine and dandy. Let's actually navigate over to that page. We can do it because we hooked it up, so we just need to click on it essentially on the Explorer. And there we go. That's what we have right there. Yeah, that looks fine to me. Perfect. So let's just stay on here and hook up some styling, and then we'll see how we can transition to this page. So let's go over here. I'll add a little comment at the end here called product page. So let's do that. Call this product page. Perfect. So we'll just add a height to it. Product nav. Grab that. Add a min height of 10 VH to this. We'll grab the product section. Add a background color of white to it, just to differentiate it a bit. Min height of 90 VH to our section here. So it looks like that. Then we'll add a position absolute because I want this to come like on top of it. And then we need to add a width of 100 VW to stretch it all the way back out. And a big Z index on it. So do something like 4, 5. Z index of 5. Because again, I want this to slide on top of the other page. Okay, cool. So we got that. Now here we can grab our product description. Add a padding, a large padding. I'll do 5% and 15%. Hit save. And a color. We don't need a comma here, my apologies. Hit save, there we go, to put it there. And a color of hashtag 4B, 4B, 4B. Okay, hit save on that. We'll grab the product description next. Grab the H2, do a font size of 2 rem. And it's looking lovely. We'll grab the product description now. Grab the P tag, increase the font size to 1.2 rem. We'll do a padding of 1 rem and 0 rem. All right, so there we go, that's what we have. And for the pictures, we'll just do a grid. It's very simple to do a responsive grid. You just need to add the display grid on it. Let's add the padding to it, so 0% and 15% to keep it consistent. So there we go, that's what we have. And now all you need to do, one simple thing, is do a grid template columns. And here we'll do repeat, so, and then auto fit. So it's gonna resize on its own. And then we can specify a size here using min-max. So basically what you're saying here is the minimum size of it should be 300 pixels. If it tries to get any smaller than that, collapse the grid and make another row and then stretch it out to 1FR. And 1FR basically means take up all the available space that there is on the screen. So if we take a look now, look at that, we have a grid. And if we make this smaller, let me make it smaller, Macintosh. Let me just do an inspect element. So if we make it smaller, see, it just jumps down to another. Now we can stretch it out. You cannot tell because we need to stretch out the image, and then you can see it's going to resize automatically. Let's also add a little gap in between, grid gap, 2 rem, just to give a bit of spacing in between them. We'll grab the product gallery, and let's also grab the product image, so the product image in here, like that. We'll do a border radius of 1 rem, and we'll do the width to 100%. There we go. So let's take a look now. So again, inspect element. So as you can see, now when we resize it, it just stretches all the way out to that one FR. So as soon as it doesn't have enough space anymore, it does the stretching. Cool. Let's grab the price and just add the display flex to it. Justify content, space between, and an align item center to drop it right there nicely. That's looking cool. And the overall card, I'm gonna grab the overall card, just add a bit of padding to it of 2 rem and hit save. And there we go, that's looking nice in my opinion. It's looking pretty good. All right, and that's gonna be it for this one. All right, so we have our page and now we need to hook up the transition because as you can see, it doesn't do a damn thing. That's okay though, we're gonna make it. Let's start hooking up the functionality to create another page transition for our product page. Okay, so let's head over to our app.js and look at that. We have so much code already, but it's okay, don't be scared. So again, if you remember, we have a transitions array here where we made an object. So now basically we can just make another object here after it like that. Dupe. And I'm gonna name this just so it's very clear. I'm gonna name it product page animation. So all I need to do here is add a name of product transition just so it's all nice and clear. And what I can do here is define from where to where should we run this transition. So I can say from, let me get this correctly here. I need a comma. There we go. So from namespace, and this takes in an array because you can define multiple ones. I wanted to go from handbag to namespace product. All right. So whenever you click from handbag to product, make sure to run this transition. Now again, this is an array, so you can add more if you want to. Product. So again, if you want to go from the boot, you can add boot here to product and so on and so forth. Okay, there we go. Add a comma here. And then we can add our enter and leave. So enter data. Again, we can kind of copy those things over like the done, this.async. Cool. Let next, let's get the container here. Data.next.container. And then we can do our product enter animation, which we don't have yet, but let's name it product enter animation. We know it's going to take in a next and a done. Cool. So let's go down somewhere here and define it. So let's see, product enter animation. Let's see, let's do a function, product enter animation. I'm going to set this equal to, add the next and the done that we have, and run an arrow function right there. Okay, why am I getting an error now? Oh, it's because I'm doing it the arrow function way, so let's just get rid of this. Let's just do it the simple way like that. Okay, so basically what I want to do is for the page to start sliding up. So I'm going to do product enter, do a from to. I guess we could make another TL here, but we can just use the previous one, TL enter from to, grab the next, we'll do a Y 100% to Y 0%. Okay, so from moving it from down all the way up back to the top to 0%. Okay, let's hit save. See if that actually works. Let's go back here, click on this, and look at that. We have that sliding up. So that's cool. So everything works fine. Okay. So after we have that sliding up, let's also do a TL enter. We'll do a from to, and I want the cards to basically stagger in. So I'll grab the cards, add a comma. We'll do opacity 0, and y50 to opacity 1 and y0. And then I'll do a little stagger on it as well. So I'll do a stagger of 0.1. Now I'll also add the incomplete here. So incomplete, and then we'll run done. So we'll let it know that we finished our animation. Okay, so let's click on it, boop, and then we have those nicely fading in. Yay, it works. Finally, something works very easily. So that's nice to see. Now we can also do the product leave animation. So for that, what we can do is just do a general fade out. So function, product leave animation. Again, feel free to get creative with it. I'm going to keep it simple. We're going to have the current here, done. All I want to do is do a DL leave from 2. We'll grab the current container and we'll do an opacity from 1 to opacity 0. Optionally, again, you can slide it back down if you wanted to. Just want to add a bit of variety just to illustrate it for you. Okay, so we also made that. So we can go back here. Let me see, where is it? To the leave. So here we have enter, right? And then we can do a leave. We'll pass in the data, do the const done, this.async, get the current, data.current.container, and then do a product leave animation, pass in the current and the done. And that should do it just fine. So click on it, boop, slides in, and look at that. If we go back, and that still doesn't work. So it works going forward, right? So clicking, boop, like that. When we try to go back to our initial page, it doesn't work anymore. The enter here is going to represent the page sliding in, right? And the leave in this case is going to represent this page here, the handbag, right? So we added the opacity 0 here. Let me just show you in the code again, the code that we just added, product leave animation. So this actually is whichever page we are left on. So in this case, the handbag page. So we're just fading that out before this starts popping up. We never specify what should happen from the handbag, from the product page back to the handbag. Okay, that's never specified. We just specified from this page to the product page. What I also want to do here is, what if I want to run these two at the same time? So I want this to fade out whilst this thing is coming up. And there's an easy way you can do that. You can go down here to where we specify, so here, the product transition, and you can add a sync of true. And that means that it's both of them are just going to run at the same time. So let's see if that works. Let's do a refresh here and click, whoop. So as you can see, it starts fading out and the other one starts coming back up instantly. So that's really cool. So again, see, fades out and that starts moving up. So that's really cool. Okay. So again, here, see, handbag to product. That's all we're defining, but we're not defining from product to handbag. Now, I tried so many things and it doesn't seem to work. I don't know why Barbara makes it so difficult. So you cannot do like, okay, I want it from the product to handbag, right? You should just be able to define it like that and for it to work. So from product to handbag, I want to run the same animation. But it doesn't work. See? So that's a shame. Let's refresh that again. Dupe. Click back. Actually, it does work, but again, I guess my problem would be is that we're running a different animation, really, right? We're fading this out and we're sliding this up. So it does work, but we're doing the opposite of what we want. We want that to slide back down and for that to come back up. So, I mean, if you want to, what you can do is you can just make a copy paste over it. So let me just show you here very quickly. Let me go back here. What you can do is pretty much just copy paste this object again and do the enter and the leave opposite. But for me, that just seems like so much extra code for such a small little thing. So I'd rather just keep it like this, to be honest. So just fade this in. I guess what we can do is do the opposite. So not do a fade out and just do a slide back on the product leave. So I think it's going to look more consistent if we just copy these two things over. So TL leave will take the current and we'll slide it down. So let's do Y 0%, right? To Y 100%. Let's see how that looks. So whoop, whoop. Yeah, that looks a bit more consistent already. So I much prefer having that. And I guess you could do the opacity as well, but we'll keep it like this. We'll keep it nice and simple. There we go. That's what we have. Oh boy, Barba.js, a bit complicated, but I'm very happy that you made it through. Hope you enjoyed this. I guess we'll do a little bit of mobile optimization, just a little bit to make this look a bit prettier. All right, see you in the last episode. Alrighty, final episode. Let's make this a bit more mobile friendly. So if we check it out now, it doesn't look too bad, but if we go like that, yeah, that really doesn't look too good. So let's head into our code. Let's head into our style.css just to make this a bit more presentable. We're gonna grab our media screen and we'll do a max width on this of, oh, there we go, 768 pixels. All right, so first of all, I'll grab the showcase and we'll do a flex direction of column to it. Also do a padding of 5% and a justify content of space evenly. All right, so let's see, that looks much better already. And now what we'll do is we'll change the min height of this to something smaller, like 85 VH. There we go. It's quite stretched out right now. We'll grab the image container, change the height of it, do a min height. Yep. Let's do a min height of 30 VH and hit save. Now I'm also gonna do a height of 0 here. Actually, why would I do that? Let me just get rid of this. Let's do a justify content of center. There we go, so it's nice and centered. And I'll do an order of 1. So I'm basically flipping this over and putting the image at the bottom of the screen. All right, next up, I'll grab the circles. Let's do circle tree. I'll do a top of 90% on this, a left of 50%, just to kind of move them down here in the corner. We'll do a transform, translate of minus 50%, minus 50%. I'll scale this up quite a bit to 3, just to cover a lot of the screen. And what I'll do with the rest is I'll just hide them. So I'll just grab circle, because I don't need that many elements on the screen because we have such a small screen right now. So circle 1 and circle 2, and we'll just do a display none on them to hide it. There we go. So that looks much better. All right, so next up, we'll grab the showcase title. All right, that right there. We'll change the font size to 1.5 rem. Hit save, just like that. We'll grab the subtitle. And we'll do font size, 1 rem. Add a bit of padding to it, 2 rem on top and bottom. Hit save, like that. That looks quite nice. And then let's grab the showcase text. We'll add a padding bottom. If you remember, we added a big padding to kind of push it up. We'll add a padding bottom of 0 now to get rid of it. So there we go. So now it's much closer together. I see another circle there. Ah, these damn circles. Okay, so I did add display none. So why is that showing? Let's do a refresh. No, there's definitely another circle there. So something with circle 2 is not working. Ah, there we go. Missed that line there. Perfect. So got rid of the padding. Let me move this arrow around a little bit because it's in a weird position there. So I'll just do a showcase, arrow. I'll do right 0, bottom 50%. I want to put it right there at the end. I feel like that looks much better. All right, so that should be it pretty much. Let's see. Guess we could make this image a bit smaller because it's absolutely gigantic now. So let's go back here. Let's do image, container, and grab the image. Let's see if we change the width of this to something smaller. If that looks a bit better. So image container, that's still quite large, unfortunately. So maybe if we can just modify this. Let me see if I do a height of 30 to it, if that affects it in any way. Oh, just images and containers are so tricky to work with, aren't they? I think I need to set the height of that. So let's do image, container, image. I'll do a height of 100% here and hit save. Now let's try to modify this. If I do min height, I don't believe it acts the same way. Let's see. Change it back to 30 the way it was. And here I'll also do an object fit of cover. See, the problem with that now is that it leaves that container, so that would be fine. But since we have a PNG image, see, maybe you can remove also the circles a bit sooner here, so it doesn't look like that. I'd probably remove it at around 1,000 pixels. As soon as it starts looking a bit weird, get rid of it. Again, feel free to optimize it to your own liking. So let me go back here. Let's go down, down, down. Okay, so that's not a good idea here. Let's get rid of that. The main issue I have right now is that this container is just taking up so much space, isn't it? So maybe we'll give more space for the text rather than the image here. So let's just get rid of everything here. Hit save. And let's grab the text container. So let's see which one is that. It's this one here, showcase text. I don't even think we have it selected, which is fine. Let's do showcase text. Let's do a flex 2 on it and see what happens then. Let's increase that to 3. Doesn't seem to take up more space, unfortunately. Oh, why is that? Why are you behaving the way you are? So let's flip that on and off. Oh, wow, it moves it down ever so slightly. That's hilarious. Okay. Should be something here. I do apologize. Styling these damn things is a bit tricky. Okay, let's look at the whole container. So we have showcase here. Let's just shrink up showcase a little bit more. I'll just add a bigger padding, I think, to it. Let's see if we add a bigger padding of 20%. How does that look? Yeah, that looks much better. Let's just do that. That cleans it up quite nicely. Okay, so let's head here to the showcase. Add a padding of 20%. Go on mobile. Let me just refresh this because this is going to start looking funky. There we go. Inspect. Refresh. There we go. That doesn't look too bad, does it? I'm happy with that mobile friendliness. There we go. Still works on mobile. Still looks quite cool. Just a bit of a different type of animation. Boop. There we go. Going back to it. I'm happy with that. Hopefully you are as well. All right, I'm gonna leave it off like that. I could be tinkering with its styling for ages, but please do. If something doesn't look too good, just mess around. Try to style it up to your own liking, and that should be it. Okay, I'm done. Let's move on from this damn transition thing. To be fair, like, I'm gonna be 100% honest with you. I'm not a big fan of doing page transitions with vanilla JavaScript. I do find it quite of a hassle. So if your head hurts and you don't know what's going on, it's okay. Just rewatch this tutorial again, and you'll have a better understanding of it. Okay, I'll leave you to it, and I'll see you in the big final chapter. Really exciting. It's my favorite project so far.